Okay, so I do want to go over a couple things. This is one of, I think, the most important things that we do in those individual meetings that we have had in the past and that I will continue with juniors and, of course, seniors. But you all should have a copy of your transcript that came home over the holidays. So I'm going to highlight a few things so that when you go home and look at that, you can kind of say, oh, yeah, this is what this means, and this is what we're talking about. So this is what this looks like. At the top, you've got your individual information. And one thing I think is fun is how many of y'all have been here since K4 or K3, the very beginning? A couple of you. It'll actually list your previous school. So if you were in daycare prior to that, it will list your daycare. So anyway, just make sure that that is all correct when you're taking a look at this. We don't list your social security number anymore. On the top right, that is a box full of X's, so in case anyone has concerns. Okay, a couple things. This particular student did a great job, I think, with balance, which is why I picked this transcript in particular. They started out with 2 honors classes in the 9th grade and did very well. They had A's across the board. I always tell students you can't just look at the numbers, and no admissions offices, or very few admissions offices, are just going to look at the numbers. You have to look at the courses that they're taking to get context, right? So a 90 in honors English is a little bit different than a 98 should it be in regular English, right? So there's always taking that into context, so keep that in mind. Also notice that we are now awarding credit by semester. So sophomores, you might have realized that last year, if you got, I'll use easy math, a 70 first semester, but you got a 92nd semester, you ended up with an 80 in class, right? Not anymore. So each individual semester is going to count separately. So I do like to point that out because that's a really significant piece to know. And quite honestly, it's because if you think of the concept of lowest common denominator, since we have some half credit classes like government and economics, everything has to then be looked at as a half credit. So that is part of the reason we started doing that. It makes it a lot easier when we're reporting all of this to colleges as well. So when you're looking at this 9th grade box for this particular student, you'll see at the bottom we have a year summary. And so this is the average just from 9th grade. You'll see that the student is currently a senior, and so they have a year summary from each year. But in 9th grade, this first one is every class that they took in the 9th grade. No weight added or anything, it's just the straight numbers. Their average was a 93.79. The middle one there is just core classes. All right, so we get rid of electives. We're only looking at those 5 core subject areas of math, social studies, English, Spanish, and science. So you might think, hey, that class doesn't count. Or that chorus class, but I'm working so hard, or the theater class that I spend so much time in isn't counting. Not in that GPA, but it does count, I promise, because even if it's not factored into your GPA, it is still on your transcript. And if I'm reviewing transcripts and I'm an admissions officer and I see C's in your PE class, what does that tell me? Yeah, I just saw the checks. Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to. That's not good. Okay, so although they may not factor in numerically all the time, it does still matter because any of those classes, a lot of the grade is based on effort, right? Do you show up and do you try? And if I have a student that consistently doesn't try in those classes, that's going to raise a major red flag for me as an admissions officer. So keep that in mind. The final one is the weighted GPA. For honors classes, we're adding 5 points to everything, and for an AP class, we're adding 10 points to everything. So this particular student taking 2 honors classes got the 5 extra points and factored into there. One thing I will notice is that, or what I will point out, we don't change the number in the actual transcript. Okay, so you'll see the honors English was a 90. That was the actual grade they earned in the class. Some high schools around the country will add that extra 5 points into the grade up top. And we don't. We try to stay away from inflation, so we're not adding that up there. We are adding it at the bottom, though, which still definitely is recognized and noticed. Okay, a couple of quick things, too. I want to talk about the 4-point GPA, because you're going to hear this a lot, especially when you start looking at colleges. If a student says, I've got a 3.8, or I've got a 3.2, what does that mean? How in the world is that calculated? So, as a reminder, anything that's an A is worth 4 points. Anything that's a B, which for Lakeview is anything that's 82 and 89, is 3 points. C for 2 points is a 70 to a 79. And you'll see that guide kind of right up there. I zoomed in on the top left, but it is on the bottom right of your transcript as a reminder. So if I was going to calculate, this is their sophomore year, if I was going to calculate that 87 goes to a 3, the 90 goes to a 4, and so on. And that is going to, let's see, okay, here we go. That's going to give the student a 3.66, which is a great GPA, going really well, it's awesome. I do want you to notice though, with one more A, so I added an A I changed the AP Human Geography from a 3 to a 4. So one more A would have given the student a 3.83, which is a huge difference if you're talking about a scale of a 0 to a 4. So that's what I'm saying. Always push yourself, especially anytime you can get right into that next letter grade. All right, because the difference on the 100-point scale between an 89 and a 90 is just 1 point, right? It's really not that big of a deal. However, as you can see, the difference between a 3 and a 4 can be a really big deal. So just be mindful anytime you're really close, especially this semester when the weather is great, and everyone wants to be outside, and you're done, and you don't want to do exams. Be sure you're paying attention to any time you can bump up into that next letter grade. Okay, here's the cumulative piece down here. I won't spend too much time on it, but you'll see we do list both the 100-point scale and the 4-point scale. Same thing as we listed above. The first one is all courses. The second one is academic courses only. The third one is the weight added in. You'll notice there's a blank there, and that is because we don't calculate the 4-point GPA with weight added in at this point. That may change in the near future. We have not yet found it to be a detriment to our students, which is why we haven't worked hard to add it. Typically, you're going to find that colleges will recalculate your GPA anyway. Most colleges are moving to a self-reported model, which means you go in and you enter how many A's did I have in English, how many B's did I have. You enter all your grades, and they're going to add their own weight and their own calculations. So as you're visiting, or if you're visiting a campus and they're talking about, oh, our admitted student average was somewhere between a 3.8 and a 4.1, you kind of raise your hand right there and say, can you tell me exactly how that's calculated, right? Because we just said that the highest was a 4.0. So how in the world are your middle 50% students getting a 4.1, right, or 4.2, or it gets really crazy? So it's a very valid question, and it's a question I ask all the time. Can you tell me exactly how you're weighting this GPA so that then I can relay the information to you, or if you happen to be on campus, you can just ask them yourself. And that should be something they share pretty openly. Okay, I just went through all of these quickly. Oh, service hours. How are y'all doing on service hours?